Hey everyone, Izzy and MJ from Endless RVing. This is an important video today. It is dangerous things that RVers continue to do. You may not even be aware of it, but we're going to point out some things that we see quite often.
So before I get to number one, number 5 is one I think that drives me the craziest. So be sure to watch each one of these and put in the comments below what are the ones that annoy you the most. And it's not even to the point of annoyance, it's the point of life or death with some of these. So the first one that we're going to talk about is speeding.
This is what we see most often.
I can't believe this, and we have mentioned this in certain other videos just here and there, but the amount of people that are speeding on the road with trailers. We saw a trailer recently.
It was on our way back from Lancaster, so
right.
We were in the Ram. I think I was doing like 70 or 75, and the speed limit was 75. We couldn't even keep up with this trailer.
It was swerving.
The best thing was it was a Ford Ranger towing what was probably a 28-foot trailer. The thing was all over. I actually sped and passed it because I'm like, if this guy goes over, he's gonna be behind me.
It was very scary. It's not only scary for the people that are in that vehicle, but it's scary for the people that are around that vehicle, because that thing, you know, like spins out and it goes down. That's going to affect everybody else that's driving past. So please, we can't say it enough, please, please, please make sure that you're driving at a healthy speed limit.
And also drive at the speed limit for the tires that are on your vehicle. A lot of these trailers, the tires are not speed rated to be doing 80 miles an hour. That's when you're going to have big problems. So the second thing has to do regarding something that happens 20,000 times a year. It's RV fires. Obviously some of them are electrical, caused by engines, but you want to make sure your smoke detectors work, especially if you buy a new RV. How do I know this? When we bought our new RV, let me show you something here. So this one it's not how ours was, but there was actually a tab right here. So there was no contact being made in the smoke detector or the battery, therefore it wasn't working. But here's a simple thing. We have the Nest Smart smoke detectors now, they test themselves, but if you have ones like this over here, all you have to do, guys, is push and hold it. It'll do a test and then just change the batteries out once a year. I mean, what does it cost? A couple bucks? Change the batteries out once a year.
It's worth it.
Make sure it's working. Change these out every 5-6 years, whatever is recommended.
Put that as part of your maintenance schedule. And also make sure you're checking your propane detector as well. How many people unfortunately succumb? What a lot of people
can't smell it, no leak.
They can't smell it, but a lot of people, it'll be beeping and they'll turn it off because it annoys them. Guys, it's beeping for a reason. It could be anything.
Could be it doesn't work.
It could be an electrical issue. We actually had that, remember when we were low, if you have low voltage, that can cause issues. And one more thing to make sure you're checking is your fire extinguishers. Make sure you're checking the date on the fire extinguishers, that are not expired. And also you want to make sure that every once in a while you turn, I broke my my elbow here. You turn the extinguisher up and down so it doesn't crystallize, so you get everything moving slowly and it stays fresh.
So while we're talking about extinguishers, RVs they have to have one extinguisher. You can see the one here, that's one extinguisher. Well, one thing I will promise you, we don't make many promises on this channel. Well, I will promise you that if you ever have a fire on your RV towed, fire around, you're never going to wish that you had less fire extinguishers. The more the better. We carry 5 on ours, and it's probably not enough, but I promise you 1 is not enough. So if you can carry them throughout the RV, make sure you know how to use them, how to get to them. It's really important because it could save your life.
All right, are you ready for one of the biggest source of fights on YouTube, Facebook, everything?
We've been yelled at many times for this.
Yes.
I'm 40 years and I've never done this.
Driving with your propane on. We don't recommend it at all.
Not only we don't recommend it, people that are fire officials don't recommend it. People that actually know what they're talking about, like RV techs, RV inspectors, they do not recommend doing this because when your propane tank is on, you potentially could have a leak. Now, you could have driven for 40 years and never had a leak.
You were lucky.
But you can.
Right.
And propane is very explosive and it does big booms, So all you need is that little leak, and then you just need something to ignite that and you have a real big problem. So all you have to do, if anybody does not know, is you go to your propane tank, turn it to the far right, make sure it's off. Now the question that we get from a lot of people is, how do I run my propane only refrigerator going down the road? Well, you can't. So you have a couple different options. You can switch out to a 12 volt. You can turn it on for a couple days prior, and and then just shut it off when you're going down the road, because stuff is going to last cold in there for probably 8 to 10 hours. Throw some ice packs in there.
Right. Yeah, a couple things. Some people will actually get a cooler and put things in a cooler during travel. You can also take big jugs of water, freeze them and put them in there with that. So there's different ways. To me, that the inconvenience of that is definitely better than, God forbid, having a fire.
Yeah, most people are not driving 8 to 10 hours anyway. So if you put your stuff in there and it's frozen and you, like I said, you have it ready to go, you just shut it off when you're driving, and then when you stop, turn it on and keep going. So the next one's going to be, make sure your tires are good. Bad tires can cause blowouts, they can cause flats, they're very dangerous. Many, especially on motorhomes, blowouts cause an extreme amount of damage. Even if you're not hurt, you're going to be hurt in the wallet to fix what that blowout caused.
Right. We had a friend of a friend, a good friend of mine, a friend of theirs, bought a new RV, was told they needed to change the tires. They didn't change the tires, and they had a horrible accident where they had
a blowout.
They did have a blowout. They were lucky that they lived. Many broken bones and ruptured. I don't want to get into it.
Way more expensive than if they just would have changed the tires.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know, well, how do I know how old my tire is? So if you look at the tires, there's a 4-digit number here.
Right here.
So 3921. So this means this is the year 2021, and this is the week. So the 39th week of 2021 is the birth date of the tires.
In addition to the date code and a couple important things, you want to make sure the condition of your tires. You want to inspect those tires, make sure there's no bubbles, dry rot, cracks, anything that looks abnormal wear, you want to have it looked at by a professional. You also want to replace your tires on a motorhome usually every 5 to 7 years, because they're going to age out before they wear out. We're actually going to be replacing our tires next year because our tires will be 5 years old next year. It's going to cost a couple bucks, but we're going to have them all changed out.
Right. You also want to do your best to keep the same brand of tire. So a lot of times if you have to get a spare, or you just have a problem on the road and you stop and they throw one on, it's
all around the same tire.
You want to
have
the same on every single tire. Make sure it's the same brand.
So the next one is really a pet peeve of both of ours, because
I can't stand.
Listen, we take our time to make sure we're not those people, and some people just don't care. It's letting your dog be off leash at campgrounds. It's so disrespectful.
Right.
It really is.
This video is focusing on safety. So besides the fact of being disrespectful and just rude and ignorant, it is very dangerous. If you don't know, I own a dog training company. I've been training dogs for years, and it is so dangerous when there is a dog off leash. And a lot of times people will say,
"Oh, my dog's friendly."
Well,
a lot of times they're not.
Right. The friendly. But maybe a dog that is on leash is not friendly, and that dog comes running, and this dog, guess what? They're either reactive or they're fearful, and they're going to protect themselves, and then they bite that friendly dog. There's just so many issues that can happen. I get so amped up about this because I feel bad for the dogs and for the owners that do the right thing. Safety is key for the dogs, for the kids that are out there.
How about the people that are driving through the campground and dogs are darting out?
Right, yeah.
It's so inconsiderate, and it's such a simple thing to do. Just put your dog on a leash. There's no reason why you have to take your dog and have it off leash running around a campground. That's just a world about me.
Right, and we did a video, we're going to link this above, at a campground that we stayed at, that we were actually filming, and this dog these dogs
jumped on
they
you,
kept charging at us every time we came up the RV.
Yeah, and it's like, what? It wasn't one time. It's just this person decided that they're just going to let their dog out, and
it can be
so
very
rude.
Very dangerous. So the last one is really important as well. It can cause a lot of dangerous issues, is being overweight or having the wrong tow vehicle.
So being overweight, we'll talk about, kind of applies to both motorized and non-motorized. But there's a couple of numbers that you should know: the gross vehicle weight rating, your carrying capacity. You need to know all that. Hitch
your towing
weights,
capacity.
Weights.
I mean,
we're not going to get into all that. We've done it in a tow video. We'll link it above. But essentially, you are responsible for knowing what is in your motorhome, what is in your RV. The labels are clear on your RV. So really the only way to do this is to weigh it, right? And again, nobody else is responsible but you. Another thing we see a lot is that people towing big RVs or towing things that they shouldn't be towing.
Right,
For example,
tiny little, yeah.
that Ford Ranger towing that large trailer, that was overweight. We didn't even weigh it. We could see it was overweight because it was squatting in the back. It was way too big for that Ranger, and the thing was just kind of fishtailing going down the road like this, all the way down the road. Really dangerous, guys. Again, it's the world about me, right? When you're towing something like that, you put everybody in danger.
Right. Who's a really good channel to learn about this type of stuff is our friend JD at Big Truck Big RV. He does a lot of videos on this very subject. And you can Google. I mean, sometimes people go to dealers. Sometimes
Dealers don't know. Dealers either sell you an RV.
Some do, but some people say they don't get the greatest information about towing. So YouTube is a really, really good place to learn more about that.
So in the comments below, let us know some of the dangerous things that you have seen while RVing. A lot of experience out there, and people see a lot of things. We want to know about it. Not only do we want to know about it, the people that watch these videos also read the comments, and there's a lot of learning that goes on. So for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime.
We'll see you on the road.